Hey, this is Meredith's husband. I've got some SEO advice for you, but I'm going to keep it really simple so that you can understand it, so it makes sense, and most importantly, so you can actually use it. Do you want to talk more about AI?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like this is becoming the AI show.
Oh, it's not. There are many other AI shows.
But it is super relevant to SEO right now. It is a monumental kind of shift.
And we need to know about it.
Yeah, I think so. I also need to update, of course, the last 2 episodes that we did because so many things have changed since then.
Are you serious?
Yeah, of course.
Holy
You remember,
smokes.
so we talked about Sam Altman and OpenAI and how that safety team was being dissolved, yet they weren't saying anything because they had signed NDAs. Well, Sam Altman came out like literally a couple days after that story broke and says, oh no, we would never claw back money. He's also, from what insiders say, a master manipulator.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it.
Yeah,
who needs to be in charge of everything?
So, and also one of the complaints, one of the things that former board members and former employees have said now is he lies. He just flat out lies. That was one of the reasons he was fired from being CEO, is the board said he just flat out lies.
Huh. Who else? I mean, what?
Anyway. Also, since our last episode about this, there was the whole Scarlett Johansson thing.
Yes.
They evidently approached Sam Altman and his team, whoever, approached Scarlett Johansson and said, hey, can we use your voice as our new AI voice? And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And they went ahead and did it anyway.
Oh,
and
the flames.
However, they have then reversed that. They've been reversing a lot of things. They reversed that. They took that down. They're no longer, I guess, using her voice. They said it wasn't her voice, but it massively was her voice.
Yeah, she said even her closest family,
her closest friends,
and family who know her voice.
I never heard it myself. I feel like
You're
I would.
really good.
That's one
voices.
It's one of the things I'm oddly good at.
Yeah, you can recognize.
That's why I collect the big bucks.
You can. My husband has a very unique skill at being able to recognize voices.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
it's especially amazing because from days gone by of being an actor, I can watch a scene in a show and know, oh, that was dubbed. And you often don't hear that.
Sometimes I often do, but sometimes I don't.
But not
but
that
I know the
I can
voice.
Do. But you can say, oh, that wasn't that person.
You also know faces.
Yeah, I guess.
Being a photographer, I think, is the basis for the foundation for your skill there, not being an actor. Anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about.
What people came here to hear and not waste their time.
So also I talked about what I called the safety team. I didn't remember the name of it.
Safety team.
The team of people at OpenAI. By the way, they were past tense called the Super Alignment Team.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That's an Elon Musk-ish sounding name to me.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Military.
Yeah. Anyway, that entire team is gone. Does not exist anymore. They just dissolved it because I guess so many people either left of their own free will or were pushed out that it just doesn't even exist anymore. So there is no team of people or no group responsible at OpenAI for the safety of all of our features.
Wait, what? Whoa. So what does that mean?
That means, from what I gather,
we're fucked? Now wait, is this in this country or the world? Because my guess is the EU are going to have far stricter regulations in place on this. That's my bet.
They might, but on the inside this company, nobody's job description is concerned with rolling these things out responsibly, in a responsible manner. Even though the whole mission statement of their company is to benefit humanity.
Yeah, but isn't it Facebook's as well?
I don't know. That's how they keep it. They actually do have a nonprofit status. OpenAI, they have a nonprofit status, although one of their subsidiaries is a for-profit company. Huh. And I think some lawyers have brought cases against them saying, well, obviously the for-profit portion of your company is telling the rest of the company what to do. And you have a nonprofit, yes, but it is just...
For show?
Again, yes, for show. Being a manipulator.
Right.
I guess that's what. And also, of course, after all this stuff comes out, Sam Altman and his husband come out and say, "Oh, we're donating half of our wealth to charity,"
Yeah,
and they do that.
write-off.
Yes. Oh well, no. If they were to do it, like lots of, it's completely non-binding. It just so happens that he says this right as he's taking on a world of shit in the media about being a terrible person.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg did the same thing. He
Yes.
announced, we're giving away 99% of our wealth to a foundation that we created and control.
And benefit from.
Who knows what it does?
Entirely.
Yeah, who knows what it does? Anyway, somebody summarized this all in a tweet. And
I bet they did.
it was brilliant. And I don't reference tweet. Actually, they're not even
No.
called, they aren't tweets anymore, are they? What are they called?
X's?
I don't know. But anyway, this tweet, I'm going to try to do this from memory. I don't have it in front of me.
Boy.
The tweet was sci-fi writer. That was the first word. Like it is a quote from a sci-fi writer. Sci-fi writer says, and the quote is, "I invented the torment nexus in my latest novel as a cautionary tale." Okay, that was his quote.
Right.
The torment nexus in capital letters, so it's a thing. "I invented the torment nexus in my latest novel as a cautionary tale." Next line, tech company. So the tech company says this.
Yeah.
"At long last, we have created the torment nexus from the classic sci-fi novel, Don't Create the Torment Nexus." Which I just think is perfect. That's just exactly what tech companies do. But I figured we'd take this in a positive direction.
I was just going to say, the good news is...
I know that's what you're going to say. So we're going to have to switch away from OpenAI and ChatGPT
Yes.
and talk about the Google AI.
Okay.
So Google's AI is called Gemini, by the way.
Gemini.
So for a long time, one of the biggest problems that I have seen with Google and what you get as a user from search results is, let's say you do a search for air purifiers.
Yeah.
Okay, you're researching air purifiers. You do a search, best air purifiers, whatever.
Right.
In results, what you're probably going to see for a search like that is some ads, maybe some companies selling air purifiers, maybe some ads for websites that just tell you what the best air purifiers are.
Right.
And then a whole bunch of websites, blogs that just recommend different air purifiers, right?
Or videos,
the top 10. Well, the videos might be there, yes, also.
Okay.
But in the non-video results, it's going to be filled with those articles.
Right.
The first page, second page, there's going to be dozens, if not hundreds of those articles. Now, what those articles are affiliate sites. So they get affiliate sales. Now, some of those blogs are really great. They really do an in-depth review of the different air purifiers, and they really do explain which ones are the best. The problem is that a lot of them also just figure out which one can they get the biggest commission from, and that's the one they recommend first.
No!
Yeah, of course. They list the top 10, and I know this because you can go and check and figure out what kind of commissions are offered.
How?
You just go to the company that makes them and go to their affiliate program and see what commission they pay.
No.
Regardless.
How are you going to trust anybody?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the fact that Google search results are dominated by these types of articles is a big problem. And it has been for a few years. And I didn't know how Google was going to get around this because it's kind of the way the system has evolved. I had no idea what was going to happen that was going to resolve this. It looks to be that AI is going to help resolve this.
Okay.
Now,
AI is going to be like, this is the humidifier.
What's going to happen is
Purifier.
AI is going to come back and say, here are the different humidifiers. And then you can ask follow-up questions of AI, and you can sort of drill down and get the information that way, never having to go to these affiliate sites. So these affiliate sites are going to be hurt big time. They're going to be... It's going to be very difficult for them.
Will that then influence influencers?
Probably not as much, at least not yet, because those influencers are using video more.
Okay,
And they're probably also, they're on Instagram and Facebook, and they're on other platforms.
Right.
So this is going to affect traffic to blogs.
Mm.
And the CEO of Google has kind of apologized for this, saying he knows he said he is empathetic to content creators who these current changes are going to affect.
Right.
And he didn't name them as specifically as I am right now. I'm just kind of,
Right.
this is something that I haven't read exactly. Google has not said this, but as an observer and kind of somebody who knows a little bit.
Reading between the lines.
Yeah. I think this is a great thing. I would love to see those sorts of results be
As would
reduced.
I, because I'd like to know the truth. I'd like to know.
Yeah. And people are probably rightfully, those are companies now. Those are not just individuals. There are big companies that do this. Those companies are going to be hit, and you're going to see stories about them complaining that Google is hoarding all the traffic for themselves because you're going to be able to do more and more right on Google without going to blogs like.
Oh, okay. Right.
But what I have said previously is if you are a photographer.
Yes.
And somebody's Google is not going to prevent that traffic from getting to your site and hiring a photographer. Google is not going to come out and be your photographer. That's not the type of thing that they're trying to do. Right. Yeah. So what I thought might be useful for photographers is if you don't want to be the Scarlett Johansson of photography, let's say you don't want your images because as a photographer, you've got images on your website, right?
Correct.
So AI, ChatGPT, and Gemini and all these things, they can source your information and they use it for what they call training purposes.
Oh.
Now, I think a lot of photographers don't like this.
I can understand why.
Because you could say, let's say you could probably go to ChatGPT and say, create a family photograph in the style of Meredith Zinner photography, and it would do that. Now, if you go as Meredith Zinner and say, do not use my material for training purposes, my understanding anyway is it would prevent that.
Oh.
Okay. So there are a couple ways you can do this, and this is changing all the time. Okay. So if you're listening to this tomorrow, it's probably new options.
Hopefully in our favor.
Yeah. So I would encourage you to take this as a starting place and do some research.
Yes.
Because who knows, a month or 6 months from now, who knows what's going to be available. Now, first, there is a company called Glaze.
Glaze. Like a donut.
Yes, Glaze. And what they do is you can, and I don't know, I've never gone through the process, but they were one of the first, and they are the most well-known company to be doing this. It was started in Chicago, I think by a couple professors.
Oh.
And they offered this thing, and they didn't know how much demand there was going to be. They released it, and they had 4 million downloads in 24 hours. It was crazy. So it has grown. So, and again, I don't know the exact process, but what they can do is they can take your images, and before you post them online, they make what they call pixel level changes. So they change the pixels in such a way so that the image will be confusing to AI bots. It will look the same to users, but it will be too confusing to AI programs so that they can't.
AI just going to learn how to get around that instantly?
Eventually, but Glaze will keep updating, I would imagine. And that's why I say go out and research, because who knows what's going to happen a week or a month or 6 months.
Right. I would just think somebody would create something, whatever they do, then this does, and that does.
I believe there are other tools out there now that do this. Glaze, I think, was the first. Check them out first. I can't recommend them. I've never used them.
Right.
But check it out. If it's something you're interested in, you might want to do this. Another option is you can go straight to the AI companies. Like you can go to OpenAI and request, and I'll put this link below, you can request that they do not use your material. Now, it seemed that Scarlett Johansson requested that they do not use her material, and they did anyway. So I don't know how good it is. But there is a link you can go to. The downside is you need to do it for every
day.
Every image. If you have 10 images on your site, you need to submit 10 of these forms. Now, the form is not that difficult, but you need to provide the link and a little description for each and every image.
Is there an AI action that you can use to do that for you?
I doubt it. But if I were a photographer, and I had some images that were really exemplary of my style, let's say. Some images that were really good. They're really like what you would say, oh, those are really Meredith Zinner photos. I would probably go and enter those.
So
especially if they're on the first
website.
These are just the images on your website, especially if they're on your homepage. So you have blogs that might have a whole bunch of images. By the way, it's probably also a good idea to help protect your clients,
Oh boy, this is going to be lawsuit city.
It's
time to revise your contracts.
That's not a bad idea. You should probably say, I don't, like somewhere in your contract, something to the effect of, I don't have control over AI. Anyway, but I would do that. There is something you can do as an individual artist to protect your work. I think the time is now. The time is now if you want to look into that.
Yeah. What was that other piece of good news?
No, that was the good news.
I know.
The other piece of good news, I read some stats about OpenAI.
Yeah.
And it seems that so far they polled people in all, I don't know, not every country, but some of the major countries. People in the US and the EU, 40-something% of adults had never even heard of ChatGPT. And only, I think it was like 5 or 6 or 7% use it on a regular basis. So it's still not a widely adopted thing.
Yet.
As I've said before, if you can learn how to use some of these things to your advantage, it's kind of a superpower.
Right.
In terms of like productivity.
Yeah.
That's something else I would encourage you to do.
Yeah.
Right now. Tomorrow it's going to be too late.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. We really hope that you find this helpful and useful. And if you do, what you could do for us as a thanks would be to, drumroll please, yes, leave a review. Yes, everybody says it, I know, but it really does make a difference. Take 3 seconds, leave as many stars, say something really nice about what you like about the podcast and maybe why other people would like it. It would mean the world to us, especially my husband. That better? All right, I'm going to try one where I'm not going to be charming.